Dragons, I am back. I am back for another video. Sorry, I had my students using my camera for a couple of things, so a couple of things got a little bit out of focus, but I was able to fix it without having to bring it back to work, which is good because we might be heading for a Long Island Railroad strike. So I'm going to do a mid-month wrap-up, which I always swear I'm going to do. This is the first May that I've actually done one because this May looks a little bit different. But I do want to say that I am having a better month. We just finished our show. Different show than I normally do, but I'm still really, really proud of my students and my kids. So let's do a mid-month wrap-up and then let's chat about the rest of the month at the end. So the first book I read was an ebook. We are doing Escape, so everything kind of has a prompt connected to it for half the month. And then some books are just random, and that is where we are currently. So the first book I read was Much Loved Scones and Secrets by Maisie Ellings. I will attach a photo of that book here. A book I borrowed prompt, and I really, really like this book. I gave this book 4 stars. It was a very, very cozy romantasy with like light faded mains, I would say. It was set in a town where a prince and a pixie had to kind of work together, and there's a faint romance. It was really, really cute. I want to read book 2 in this series as well. But I gave it 4 stars. It was very, very short, perfect for a readathon, and I was so happy that I got around to it. And then for the other next borrowed prompt, I read The Same Backwards and Forwards by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And this is actually a 2-part book, so you get The Same Backwards and Forwards, and then you get The Same Backwards and Forwards, and one is a love story and one's a hate story. And basically this follows Hannah and Toby, and you kind of get how Hannah is Avery's mom, and Toby, who you find out and you get both of their stories about how they interacted with each other during this time. And I really like this. I really can't say too much more about this book because it does have massive spoilers for the whole series, but it was a really interesting way to tell a story. I would say that this is like a light romance because both sides do have a romantic. You definitely get more about their past and a little bit of inkling about what's going to come next in the last book in the series. Like, it's basically like a world. And I'm going back and I'm reading book 1 as we speak now. But yeah, I had a fun time with this book and I gave it 4 stars. And then the next book I read, this was another book that I think was for borrowed. If not, it was just like the next book on my audio hold. Oh, and maybe this one was Second Chance. Yeah, I think we had to pick like 3 tropes, and this one was I chose. So we've hit Turbulence by Jessica L. Cozy. I will attach a photo of that book here. Definitely reading a lot more YA, and I'm really, really like this book. It was a second chance romance about 2 characters that broke up because their lives were in really, really different positions. And then she is kind of going to see her boyfriend in Hawaii. He's going to see his family in Hawaii, and they kind of get stuck together and they have a reconnection. And I really, really like this book. It did deal with a lot of harder topics like, you know, late years of high school, going to college, being friends, not being in paths with each other. And I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I forgot how much I loved like YA romances. I just don't hear anyone talk about them because no one I follow on YouTube really reads romance like YA books anymore, honestly. So I really just have to kind of reach them out my own, and when I go to a convention, not be afraid to pick them up, even if I ultimately listen to them later. I really like this book. I think I've met this author a couple of times at like book festivals because she's a content creator or was a content creator, but I really like this. I want to see what more she writes in the future. It was super cute, low angst, but also really, really fun. And then the next book I read was Hopelessly Necromantic by Shiloh Breyer. This book fell a little bit flat for me, and I think it was just because I didn't feel that connected to the characters. Basically, you have a new recruit Hellspire who basically has to escort a necromancer Scarus to kind of go back to the kingdom that they were taken from, and they have a budding romance. It was okay. I just didn't feel that connected to the characters, and it made the story drag a little bit. What I will say about this book was the humor. It was a very, very funny read. The characters read super funny. I just didn't feel that connected to them, so it was a little bit of a slog for me. And this book, the reason I picked this book up was because it had magic in it. So that is a rare with this one. This one was an arc that I got from BookFest. I didn't like it as much as I was hoping, but I would read more by this author in the future because I did like her writing style. I just didn't feel that connected to this story in particular. And the next book I picked up was another like second chance Friends to More YA romance, and it was Roles and Rivalry by Christy Boyce. I will attach a photo of that book here. This was another one that was like a second chance Friends to More romance. Basically, these two characters, one character moved back to town, and her parents and this boy's mom do a D&D game, and they wind up reconnecting, and they had a bit of like a miscommunication when they like stopped talking to each other. But I love this book. I really had a fun time. Dungeons and Drama was like my favorite book of the year when I read it. I did like Datings and Dragons, but I didn't like it as much. This book was really, really fun. I gave it 5 stars. It just really worked. There was a lot of side characters that I liked. There was also a marching band, Friends to More, like Friends to Enemies to More, and then there was just like a fun D&D element. There was fun parental elements as well, and I just really, really had a fun time with this book. I gave it 5 stars, and I just had a fun time. It just put a warm smile on my face, and I would love to see more books set in this world. I really hope she writes one every year, because I enjoyed this one quite a bit. And then the last book that I read for this part of the reading wrap-up was The Cursed Catacombs by Nick Ellis and Ethan M. Aldridge. This is a D&D inspired book. So basically, this is really, really fun. I want to bring this to work with me because I think the kids would love it. Basically, you kind of make a character named Seth, and you're kind of following the game like as you're playing as Seth. And every single time it's like a choose your own adventure. You like have to do the things to kind of figure out if you succeed. It's really, really fun. I had a great time with this book. It was really, really enjoyable. I think I succeeded reluctantly. Like, I don't think I'm very good at playing this way, but I had a fun time. And I think that if you have a reluctant reader or someone that does like D&D, give them this book, because I think it would give them enough motivation to keep reading and keep playing their game. So yeah, that is where we are. I am listening to a bunch of stuff this week. I was like not the focus week of my life, but yeah, and I haven't really been watching a bunch of stuff. I've been kind of catching up, so I knew this week was going to be a little bit stressful. But we also are going into the end of the month where we have a lot of days off, or I have a lot of days off, so I'm hoping to get a lot of reading done, and Escape is just controlling my reads. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you read for the first half of the month. I would love to know, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye bye, friends.